There are 3 easy steps in creating your resume link. Let me show you how.
Step 1. Register. Go to www.jobs180.com using any browser and click Register Now. Fill out all the information needed. In choosing your resume link, use your full name so that it looks professional and it's easy to recall by potential employers. For example, Antonio Juan de la Cruz .jobs180.com. Step 2. Create and design. When creating your resume, make sure to complete your personal information and upload your profile picture. One of the highlights of the resume link is the portfolio section. In the portfolio section, you can show off your skills by uploading samples of your work like documents, pictures, videos, and your social media links.
Your resume link also features different themes and you can upload a cover photo. This is a combination of a cover letter and a social network cover photo. Here is an example. You can also download a copy of your resume link and print it. Step 3. Apply for a job. There are many ways to apply with your resume link.
First is browsing the job recommendations in your Jobs 180 dashboard.
If you're qualified, click Submit Resume Link. So what are you waiting for? Dress up your next generation resume, stand out brightly among the competitive job seekers in the market, and win the heart of your future employers using Resume Link.
Good morning, everyone. So welcome to Jobs180.com's Marketing Me Live. We are live today at the Salle University, Dasmarinas. So today we will be joined by speakers from Jobs180.com. We have these speakers from Cognizant and PSG Global Solutions. Before we start, may we invite everybody for a short prayer. Let us remember that we are in the most holy presence of God, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below.
Saint John Baptist de La Salle, pray for us. Live Jesus in our hearts forever. The prayer will be followed by the singing of the national anthem.
Sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib ay buhay. Lumang hinirang, tuyang ka ng pag-ibig, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisingin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit bumahaw, may tinatang tula at hawin sa paglayang minamahal. Ang pisnag ng walang mo'y tanong ay narating. Ang bituin at harap ng kailan ka ay di maghihiling. Walang araw ng walang ibang sinabi ay langit sa piling mo. Aming di kaya na pagkay malapit na mamalay lang dahil sa'yo.
Alright, so welcome everyone. So my name is Shari and I'll be your host for today. And please invite your classmates, please invite your friends that we are now starting. To officially start our session for this morning, may we invite Mr. Leo Manansala, Director for Alumni and Relations and Placement Office for his opening remarks. Good morning, Sir Leo.
Hi, Shari. Good morning. And good morning to our graduating students, to our partners, to our speakers, and especially to our alumni. This pandemic gave us a really challenging situation. And we're thankful to jobs180.com, who's been our partner for several years now, to come up with this idea of still pursuing our commitment in making students, graduating students, be job ready. You know, guys, this pandemic is really challenging and make job hunting more difficult than ever. And this Marketing Me Live activity, webinar we have right now, is our way of at least giving you last mga last tips so you can be ready for our job fair this coming Thursday. And I hope this will be a fruitful and meaningful one for everyone. So, hindi ko na pahabain and mas mahalagang maintindihan ninyo at marinig ang ating mga speakers ngayong umaga. And in behalf of our Vice President, Dr. Mirna Ramos, and the President of Alumni Association, Dr. Nathaniel Esgolia, ARPO and Jobs180.com would like to present to you this Marketing Me Live. And that's it. Hope this will be a fruitful and meaningful one activity to everyone. Good morning.
Thank you for that, Sir Leo. All right. Stay safe, sir. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So to our DLSU students, we'd like to know where you're from, guys. So please comment your name and course on our comment section. And then later, please don't be shy to ask questions sa mga speakers natin this morning. All right. So here is our schedule for this morning. So first up, we will be discussing ResumeLink 101 from jobs180.com. Next one, we will have winning virtual interviews from Cognizant, and then hiring trends in the new normal to be presented by PSG Global Solutions. So shout out to everyone who is here. So again, we'd like to know where you're from. Please put your name and course in the comment section. All right, so let's go to our first speaker. So our first speaker is Sir Kim Chua. He is the managing director of jobs180.com, and he has over 20 years of experience in sales, marketing, business development, customer service, operations, business process, and human resources. He is a trusted resource speaker, and he has done over 1,000 career development seminars in more than 400 plus colleges and universities nationwide. So, Sir Kim, if you're ready, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Allow me to share to you how to make a job-winning resume. Yan. A lot of you are now looking for a job and exploring for the next chapter in your life. I hope that this session will be able to help you. No? Not only you, but the people that you know that needs help in terms of how to make a job-winning resume. Yan. So yan na tinatawag nating resume link. A lot of platforms right now, mga online platforms are being offered left and right. But for you to know paano to magiging job-winning tool or job-winning resume to, meron akong checklist. So go with me, no, with all these checklists. Your checklist should include the following. Number 1, kailangan mag-stand out ka. When you look for a job, you have to be able to stand out. Because if you're not going to be able to stand out, then I think you'll just be part of the crowd. You'll be one of the next applicant na wala lang, na hindi naman papansin. Another thing that should be in your checklist is that you should only have one file. Hindi dapat maraming files na iba-iba sinesend sa mga companies. Mas maganda, isang file lang para pag sinend mo, lahat ng details mo nandoon na. Another thing in your checklist is that it should make the process more efficient. Ibig sabihin, mas mabilis mag-submit, mas mabilis makita ng HR, at mas mabilis kayo makontak for possible next steps na or possible job offer na. Now, another thing in my checklist is that dapat tipid ito, wala itong gastos. The tool that I will show you today, wala itong gastos. Libre po ito. At higit sa lahat, itong pinaka-importante sa lahat, this should be in your checklist. The tool should be secured. Okay? More than anything, importante talaga ang data. Pero ang data ninyo, dapat yung protectionan. And using this tool, this is the most secured resume kung tawagin. Bakit siya tinawag na most secured resume? Let me go through the next slides na. Okay? Ito ang tinatawag na resume link. Okay? A personalized URL for anyone can open online anytime. I will use an example para makarelate kayo. If you are John Santos, ang link mo or resume link mo pwede maging johnsantos.jobs180.com. Ganun lang kasimple. At yan na po ang resume link nyo. So how do you make one? Go with me through the 3 simple steps. First step is you have to register. Absolutely wala tong bayad. Libre po ito. How do you register? You go to the website of jobs180.com. That's www.jobs180.com at dun ka mag-register on the upper right side of your screen. Now, as you do that, you have to put the basic information. Okay? So, alam nyo na ano mga information yan. Hindi ko na isa-isahin. Babawasan nyo naman at alam nyo naman ano dapat ilagay. Now, as you create your account, you have to use a valid email. Okay? Now, before we go to the email, paalala ko lang, sa mga nag-isip sa inyo, paano kung hindi ako si John Santos, ano gagawin kong resume link? O yan, baka nag-isip kayo eh. So, if ever lang, mayroon kang kapangalan. Okay? Just so happen na may ibang John Santos na nauna sa inyo, ano mangyayari? Magkakaroon doon na red na box, sasabihin niya, this name has already been taken. Huwag kayong malungkot. Pag taken na, okay lang, just be creative. Pwede mo gawin, baliktarin mo. Gawin mo santosjohn.jobs180.com o kaya J Santos o kaya Santos J o kaya JS o kaya SJ. Depende kung ano gusto mo gawin. Basta importante, wala kang kapangalan. Okay? Wala kang kapareho. Now, when you do this, huwag kayong OA. Do not create yung mga ganong klaseng over creative na mga resume link because it doesn't look professional. Imagine submitting to a company with your resume link that says eljablo.jobs180.com. Hindi yan mukhang professional. Okay? Now, when you register, please use a valid email. Ito yung emphasis ko lang sa pag-create nyo ng account na dapat gamitin yung email, yung nabubuksan yung email, kagaya ng Gmail, Yahoo, or any email na nabubuksan nyo. Do not create, example lang yung mga email na kagaya ng ganito, patricia@facebook.com na email. Huwag kang gagamit ng joseph@facebook.com na email to register. In short, huwag mong gagamitin yung @facebook.com na email. Because if you use @facebook.com na email, you will no longer be able to receive notification being sent to you by the companies as well as jobs180.com. Importante po na nabubuksan nyo yung email nyo kasi kailangan mo i-verify yung account mo. Okay? It is very important that you verify your account as a proof na ikaw nag-register at pangalawa, para ikaw yung makapag-apply. If you don't do this, if you don't verify, walang mangyayari sa account nyo. Okay? So, sayang lang. So, you have to verify to finish the first step. Okay? How do you verify? Just open your email, look for the link, click mo yung verify, you're done with the first step. Okay? Tapos na yung first step. Ano yung first step? Register. Wala tong bayad. Let's go to the second step. Ang second step, ang pinaka-logical sa lahat. Kailangan kumpletong detalye nyo. So, how do you do that? You go back again to your account by going to the website of jobs180.com. This time, hindi mo kailangan mag-register. Ang gagawin mo, mag-log in. Pag login mo, lagay mo dito yung email nyo or resume link nyo, kayo lang may alam yan, at lalo na yung password nyo na kayo lang talaga may alam yan. So when you do that, you now go inside your account. Pag nasa loob na kayo ng account nyo, ano gagawin nyo? Mabilis na lang ito. Fill in the blanks. Okay? Now, I don't have to go through all the information here because definitely, alam mo naman pag sinabi ditong name, malamang pangalan nyo. Pag nakalagay dito address, malamang address nyo. Diba? So you put all the information ninyo dito. Okay, lagay nyo. Then, what else do you put in here? Importante po, lagay dito lahat ng posibleng paraan na pwede ka makontak ng isang HR. Kagaya ng social media account nyo. Diba? Hindi lang email tsaka phone number. Bakit? Most of the time, ano nangyayari? Okay, let me tell you. Marami sa inyo nilalagay nyo phone number nyo. Pero pag tinatawagan kayo ng HR, hindi nyo sinasagot. Lalo na pag hindi mo kilala. Hala, sino kaya ito? Hindi mo sasagutin. Diba? Kasi takot kayo, baka nagsascam or whoever yung tumatawag. So ano mangyayari sa mga HR? Mag-i-email kami ngayon sa inyo. But you don't open email more often than you open your social media account. So I recommend lahat ng posibleng paraan na pwede ka makontak na isang HR, ilagay mo dito. Kagaya ng mga Facebook nyo or Twitter nyo para mabilis tayo makapag-PM. Private message, makapag-invite for the next step. Okay? What else do you put here? You also put here your work options, yung mga work experience nyo. Pagdating po sa work options, you can see on the screen, you have 4 options na pwede nyo pagpilian. Parang switch lang yan. Yes, no switch, on, off switch. So you can choose here, example, looking for OJT, lagay mo yes if you're looking for OJT right now. And later on, pag hindi na, turn it off. Edi lagay mo na no. Diba? So depende yan kung anong mas trip nyo or anong mas pasok dun sa hinahanap nyo right now. What the system will do is it will try to match you with companies who are also looking for the same profile with what you have. Yan yung kagandahan ng tool natin. Hindi mo kailangan mag-door-to-door para mag-submit ng resume link ninyo. Okay? What else do you put here? You put here your school under education. Even later on, okay, pagka-graduate nyo, you can also put here your schools. Yung mga nag-take pa kayo ng further studies, pwede mo rin ilagay dito. Okay, so walang limit sa space yan. Pagdating mo sa seminars attended, ganun din. Kahit gaano karami, pwede nyo ilagay dito. Kahit magkopyahan pa kayo. Just make sure lang alam mo yung seminar na yon. Kaya baka matanong ka sa interview. Pagdating po sa certification, ganun din. Put all the certification programs that you've had, you put it here. Okay? When it comes to the achievement, do not limit your achievement only inside the school. Hindi lahat na nakikinig ngayon ay Dean's Lister. Hindi kayo lahat dito ay honor student. Diba? Ayan, nag-agree marami sa inyo. So, hindi lang po ang achievement nakabase sa academic excellence. Some of you are student leaders. So, if you're active sa school, you also put it here kung ano yung mga pinagkakabalahan nyo. And hindi lang sa loob ng school, even outside the school. If you're active in your barangay, halimbawa, isa kang tanod, ilagay mo dyan. Diba? Yan yung mga achievement ninyo. So, you put it here. Bakit? Because what you're doing now is you're trying to market yourself more effectively to that prospective company. Okay? Now, when it comes to the skills and languages, ito yung common observation namin mga HR. Pagdating sa skills, nilalagay mo lang na skills yung mga umiikot lang sa course nyo. Hindi porkat communication arts ang course mo, com arts lang ang skills na alam mo. Hindi porkat engineering ang course mo, ang alam mo lang na skill ay pang-engineering. Hindi porkat tourism or HRM ang course mo, ang alam mo lang na skill ay pang-tourism at pang-HRM. Maybe some of you are into multimedia, into photography, into videography, into something else, arts, crafts, whatever. Lahat ng yan, skills nyo yan. Remember, what you're doing here is you're marketing yourself more effectively. Kaya kung ako sa inyo, ilagay mo dito lahat ng skills na alam ninyo. Pagdating po sa languages, ganun din. Huwag mong ilimit yan sa 2 lengguwahe lang. Because I'm sure alam nyo na yung 2. Kung 2 lang talaga alam nyo, din 2 lang. Ano tong 2 to? English and Tagalog or Filipino. Okay? Now, if you know other local dialect, Bisaya, Kapampangan, Sabacano, Ilonggo, you can also put it here. If you know foreign languages, German, French, Chinese, Japanese, diba, Korean, pwede mo ilagay dyan. Okay? Walang limit sa space yan. When it comes to the references, sigurado ko yung mga references nyo, kilala nyo. Ang malaking tanong dito kayo ba'y kilala nila? Sana oo, di ba? Kasi madalas pag tumatawag kami sa mga references nyo, hindi kayo maalala. So please tell them, ginawa nyo silang reference para at least they know what to tell about you. Okay? Now at this point, to make your life easier, kung sakali lang nakagawa ka na ng resume nyo in your Word file or maybe in your doc file, depende kung anong file nyo, PDF file, whatever file you have. Kung nakagawa ka na ng resume nyo, simple na lang. Just copy all the information inside dito. No, ilagay mo sa loob ng resume link. Just transfer them here inside the resume link para maging secured yung data nyo. Okay? Kung bakit secured, I'll tell you as we go along. Okay? So yung mga sinabi ko, I think alam nyo na yan. Alam nyo na yan. Okay? Itong mga susunod kong papakita, ito yung mga amazing na portion. Let me start with the portfolio section. Ano yung portfolio section? This is the part where you now upload evidence of your skills. Example, ano ebidensya na graduate na kayo later on? Diploma, 'di ba? Transcript. Ano pa? Toga? Hindi ebidensya yung toga. Okay? Kung ano man meron nyo, 'di ba? Certificate, diploma, 'yan, ebidensya 'yan, okay? Kung transcript of records is evidence na graduate na kayo. Ano ebidensya na wala kayong criminal record? NBI clearance, police clearance, 'di ba? Ano ebidensya na pwede ka pumunta sa ibang bansa? Passport, visa, lahat ng mga sinasabi mong mga skills mo or yung mga what you're claiming that you know, you can now support them here sa portfolio section by showing those documents. Diba? Anong ebidensya na ikaw ay healthy? Meron kang medical clearance. Anong ebidensya na pwede kang mag-drive ng sasakyan? Meron kang driver's license. Diba? So gets nyo na yung sinasabi ko. Ang point ko lang is you can now put the things here to support yung claim nyo of your skills. Now, you're starting to think, Sir, kung pare-pareho naman kaming graduate sa school namin, pare-pareho kami magkakaklase, same yung course namin, same yung school, same yung teachers, same yung curriculum, pare-pareho lang naman kami lahat, walang experience sa trabaho, how will we stand out? Ayan, di ba? Okay, ito ngayon yung isang magandang recommendation ko sa inyo on how you now stand out. You get your smartphones. Kunin mo yung mga smartphones nyo. Kung wala, manghiram sa kaibigan. Okay, hiram mo sa kaibigan mo. I-record mo yung selfie video mo. You say something interesting about yourself. Record it in about 30 seconds to 1 minute lang. Huwag na masyadong mahaba. Ano gagawin mo? Pretend that you are being interviewed by the HR. So you answer basic questions like, tell me something about yourself. O, di ba? Ano yung mga sa tanong natin? Why should we hire you? O, di ba? Just imagine na tinanong ka ng HR at sasagutin mo na lang siya. Ang maganda lang ngayon, recorded mo. So, kung di mo type yung sagot, i-delete mo. Pag type mo, you save it. Then you upload it sa YouTube or sa Vimeo. Maraming mga video channel na libre, mga video converter sa online. Hanapin mo lang. And when you're done, you put that video link doon sa portfolio section nyo. O, di ba? This time, it will definitely make you stand out because depende na to sa diskarte mo on how you're going to present yourself. Okay? So I leave it up to you on how you do that. Now, another thing for you to do, na sure akong hindi to makokopya ng classmate mo, ay yung picture mo. Diba? So you put your profile picture here. Now, when it comes to the picture, hindi kailangan sobrang formal na formal. Hindi kailangan pumunta sa studio. Huwag na kayo gumastos. Ang importante dito, tumingin kayo sa camera. Plain background. Okay? Plain background, tumingin kayo sa camera. Wear something, of course. Wear something decent. Okay? Do not upload profile pictures that look like the right side of your screen. Yung mga sample na yan, hindi po maganda example yan. Okay? So, huwag kayo maglagay ng mga ganun kasi mga sample ng profile picture. Now, another good thing pa that will make you stand out using the resume link is your cover photo. Yes! A picture paints 1,000 words. Yan ang kasabihan na very, very applicable dito. A lot of you who are listening today, hindi kayo gifted with writing skills. Hirap kayo i-express ang inyong feelings at inyong thoughts into words. Hindi mo ma-type, hindi mo ma-sulat. Tama? Hirap tayo eh. Bakit? Hindi natural sa atin yan. Pero pagdating sa picture, kayang-kaya mo i-express yung inyong personality. Look at the examples I'm showing you. Look at the one on the left. Ano siya? Isa siyang ophthalmologist or optometrist. Sabi naman ng iba, eye expert. Di ba? Yung sa kanan, ano siya? Sabi ng iba, sir, parang IT. Sir, techie siguro kasi maraming gadget, pati stapler, gadget niya. Diba? Halimbawa, o sabi ng iba naman, sir, parang makalat. O depende na kung how you are going to interpret it. But now, the way I see it, itong taong to, multitasker. Okay? Another good example I'm showing you is this one. Someone from psychology, someone from neurologist, or maybe someone who knows left and right. Ganun lang kasimple. No? So depende yan how you're going to express yourself. Okay? Another good example pa, ito. Itong person na to, ang gusto niya sabihin, there's no shortcut to success. You will be able to reach your goal by taking one step at a time. O, di ba? So I'm showing you good examples. Hindi yan member na Akit Bahay Gang. Hindi rin po yan social climber, in case that's what you're thinking. So kung nagpakita ko ng magaganda example, I will also show you yung mga hindi magandang example para wag niyong gagayahin. Huwag kayong magpapaka-misteryoso. Okay? Make sure you put your picture there. Okay? Kasi maraming pangalan ngayon interchangeable. Ako mismo, guilty ako dyan. My name is Kim. A lot of people think babae ako. Ako rin mismo, napagkakamalan ko yung mga aplikante, panakita ko, Chris, George, Alex, Sam. O, diba? Minsan isipin ko, Joey, lalaki. Yung pala, babae. Diba? So you better put your picture there para at least alam ng HR who to expect. Okay? Now, when you make your resume link, dapat may laman talaga yan. Kasi kung walang laman yan, ganyan itsura niyan. Blanco. And how do you expect companies will look, or HR from companies will look at your profile if you submit to them resume links that look like this? It's like submitting a piece of a paper, bond paper, or long bond paper, short bond paper na walang laman except pangalan mo. And that's the same as this one. So hindi yan papansinin ng mga HR for sure. Okay? Sayang lang oras nyo tsaka oras ng HR. Kailangan attractive. Okay? When I say attractive or catchy, do not overdo it naman. Now, this is just in my opinion. In my opinion, I think this one is not a good example kasi ang dating niya parang tamad, parang happy-go-lucky, parang chill-chill lang, no? Parang ganoon ang dating. So, I leave it up to you on how you'll be, expressing yourself na dito. Okay? So, sa mga personality nyo. Alam niyo na anong dapat nyo gawin at hindi nyo dapat gawin. So, showing a very good example is si iExpert. Tignan mo, lahat ng detalye niya, kompleto. Everything from top to bottom, kompleto lahat ng details, including yung kanyang mga portfolio section na nagpapatunay na siya ay isang licensed ophthalmologist. Pinakita niya lahat ng mga posibleng hingiin pa sa kanya ng mga HR. So bakit ko sinabi sa inyo napapabilis yung buhay dito? Hindi lang buhay nyo. Pati buhay din ng HR napapabilis because once you submit all this information to that company, when the HR opens your resume link and sees everything about you, dalawa lang ang pwedeng mangyari niyan. One is, nahuli mo attention, gusto kanya ngayon kausapin or schedule for the next step like interview or possibly job offer, or hindi ka nag-fit. Yun yung second. Di ba? Para at least, ang maganda rito, hindi na pabalik-balik, hindi na siya tatawag para sabihin, hello ma'am, meron ka bang evidence na graduate ka na talaga sa school na yan? Can you send me your transcript? Di ba? Can you send me yung mga evidence or yung mga sample skills o sample work mo kasi you are in IT or in graphic design? Di ba? Gets mo ibig ko sabihin? Wag nang pabalik-balik, sayang yung oras. Okay? Time is of the essence, lalo na ngayon. So you put everything there, at least pa nakita ng HR, diretso na kagad sa pagprocess sa inyo. Okay? A lot of you are now thinking, Sir, pag gumawa ako ng resume link at nilagay ko lahat ng information ko dyan, baka naman yung mga data ko nakakalat na sa buong mundo. Baka naman yung mga information ko nakalantad na sa buong internet. The answer is, no. Kaya siya tinawag na the most secured resume. Okay? Bakit siya tinawag na most secured resume? Because you have the ultimate control over your privacy settings. Follow the screen. Inside your dashboard, when you log in, you can go to your settings. Sa settings mo, to be specific, puntahan mo yung privacy settings. In your privacy settings, you choose the information that you want to show in public. Halimbawa lang you do not want to show your birthday. What do you do? Turn it off. Ayaw mo pakita yung address mo. What do you do? Turn it off. Ayaw mo pakita ang inyong references. What do you do? Turn it off. So lahat na naka-off, hindi lalabas sa public. At sino may control niyan? Kayo lang. O, di ba? Ang maganda pa rito, real-time update yan. Halimbawa, today, you decide not to show your birthday, your address, and references. And then 5 minutes later, you decide, sige, pakita ko na nga birthday ko. Turn it on. Real-time. 5 minutes later, the moment you save your settings, lahat na binigyan mo ng resume link, updated din sila real-time. As in real-time. Di ba? Ayos, di ba? Sige, tuloy natin. Tuloy pa natin to. So, reminders ko na lang sa mga late na dumating or kakakinig lang, when you make your resume link, make sure that your profile is interesting and attractive. Okay? Wag OA. Iba yung over naman yun. No? Wag naman ganun. So, make sure it's attractive, it's catchy. Complete all the information, especially your contact details. Kasi sayang naman lahat ng ginawa mo, nahuli mo atensyon, hindi ka makontak ng HR. So, better make sure nandyan yung mga contact details na updated. Okay? So, yan. So, tapos na tayo sa 2 steps. Last step na lang. Ano yung first step? Recap lang. First step is register. Wala tong bayad. Libre po yan. Second step is for you to complete the information. Yan ang pinaka-logical. And the last step now is for you to submit. So, you're now thinking, okay ito paano ko gagamitin ngayon yung resume link? Bigyan kita ng iba-ibang paraan. Okay, lahat ito practical application para makarelate kayo. Unang option, pumunta ka sa website ng jobs180.com. That's www.jobs180.com, and that's where you now start to look for companies. Type the companies that you're looking for. Pag may lumabas, edi good. Pag walang lumabas, edi wala. Okay, huwag din pilitin. Okay? Now, you can also see there are a lot of companies, a lot of company logos that you can shop around, you can choose, learn about the company, and if you want to be part of the company, I recommend you submit your resume link kahit na hindi ka pa qualified. Let me repeat what I just said. If you want to be part of an organization, if you want to be part of that company, even if you are not yet qualified, I recommend you give your resume link to that company. Bakit? Imagine, kung ngayong hapon, nagsubmit ka ng, ngayong araw, nagsubmit ka ng resume link sa isang kumpanya na naghahanap ng 3 years experience na aplikante. Wala ka pang 3 years experience. Okay lang. Because nabigay mo na yung resume link mo sa kanya, pagdating ng 2024, siguro naman by that time, meron ka ng 3 years experience, di ba? Kasi nag-work ka na ngayon by 2021. By 2024, may 3 years experience ka na, pwede ka na ma-qualify sa position in applyan mo. And you never know. That company might just contact you later on, provided that your details are still updated. So you have to update those information real time. Ayos ba? Ayos ba? Wala na pabalik-balik. Hindi mo na kailangan magbalik-balik dun sa kumpanya para sabihin, nag-apply po ko sa inyo last year. Ako po yung OJT nyo 3 months ago. Wala lang ganun. Okay? Another practical application. When you submit your resumes through email, how do you do that? Madalas, ito ginagawa natin. Mag-email tayo, sasabihin natin, Dear HR Manager, I would like to apply for the following position and this is my resume. Ano gagawin nyo? I-attach mo yung Word file mo or PDF file mo. Tama? If that is how you're doing it, wag mo nang gawin yon. Wag ka na mag-attach ng anything sa email. Pampabagal lang yan, tsaka makaluma na yung style na yan. Bakit ko sinabi yon? Kasi hindi mo na kailangan talaga mag-attach ng anything. Ang gagawin mo, i-type mo na lang doon sa email mo yung resume link mo. Example, Dear HR Manager, I would like to apply for the following position. And this is my resume. In this example, Antonio Juan de la Cruz, 01.jobs180.com. That's it. Submit. I look forward to your information soon. Thank you. Send. Every time meron kang babaguhin sa details mo, hindi mo na kailangan padalhan yung HR. Kasi kung ginagamit mo mga attachment, ang kulit niyan ang kulit, saka nakapagod. Ano gagawin mo pa nagbago ka ng phone number? Dear HR Manager, this is now my updated resume. Mamaya-maya, 2 weeks later, nagpalit ka ng phone number. Ano gagawin mo? Dear HR Manager, this is now my updated, most recent resume. O diba? Every time meron kang babaguhin, padala ka na padala doon sa HR. Nakakapagod yan, hindi lang sa part nyo, kundi sa part din namin sa mga HR to keep track which one yung pinaka-updated na details. So this time, wala na kailangan. Palit-palit na lang kayo ng details nyo, update na lang sa loob ng resume link. Ayos ba? Ayos pa. Okay, tuloy pa natin to. Okay? If you want to print your resume, this is now the good news. You can now print your resume link. No matter how much information you have, the system will try to compress everything into one page. So kung gusto mo talaga mag-print ng papel at mag-submit sa mga kumpanya, walang kaso. Pumunta ka lang sa dashboard mo, hanapin mo yung print na option at mamili ka kung 1 column or 2 column version ang gusto mo i-print. What the system will do is it will try to compress everything into one page para tipid na. O, di ba? Now, usapang tipid. Ito mas tipid pa. Gusto mo mag-print ng resume pero gusto mo magtipid. Itong gawin mo. Gumawa ka ng resume link card. Ano tong resume link card? Sa isang pirasong long bond or short bond paper, mag-design ka ng maraming resume link card. No, maliliit lang, parang business card ang dating. In one piece of paper, I think you can make 10, 20 sets of cards. Depende sa size ng papel mo. At ang importante na ilagay mo dyan sa resume link card mo ay syempre ang inyong resume link. Diba? So, hindi mo na kailangan ilagay lahat ng details mo sa resume sa loob ng maliit na papel. Lagay mo lang resume link mo. And that is what you now give to the companies when you start applying. Look at the picture I'm showing you. Diba? Tipid. Hindi lang tipid. Secured pa. Tingnan nyo. If you submit yung big paper resume nyo, long bond paper, sinubmit mo sa isang kumpanya, nag-apply ka, for some reason, nilipad ng hangin. Yung nakapulot ng papel na yan, alam na buong detalye mo because everything is in that one-page printout. Now, if you lose that small piece of paper, don't worry. Meron kang peace of mind. Bakit? Yung mga kapulot niyan, limited sa privacy settings mo because you have the ultimate control over your privacy settings kahit na i-type niya yan sa browser. Okay? So, ang recommend ko rin sa mga nakikinig, use the gadget. Take advantage of the technology. Use your gadget, your laptop, your cellphone, your tablet, kung ano man. Okay? Para ngayon kasi, with this day and age, technology na ang gamitin natin. Kung mano-mano pa rin kayo, wala kayong gadget, okay lang. Huwag kayong malungkot. You can still submit to the companies by just simply writing the resume link on a piece of paper. As simple as that. Okay? So, again, sa mga nagtatanong, ano yung mga guidelines ko para makagawa ako ng job-winning resume? Ito yung guideline ko. Ito yung checklist ko. Are you using the right tool? That's the ultimate question. There are so many tools right now, but these are the things that you should consider when you make your resume. And that is the resume link. It already addresses the following. Number 1, security ng information mo. I hope by this time, you have peace of mind. Ito na pinaka-secured na information because you have the ultimate control over your privacy setting. Pangalawa, the speed of hire becomes faster. It becomes more efficient because whatever you need, whatever the HR needs, you can already put it inside the resume link. Another thing is that it's flexible. If you want to print, just in case na gusto mo talaga mag-print ng resume nyo, you have the option to print it. And you don't have to worry about saan ko sinave yung file na yan, saan ko tinago, wala nang ganun. Just log into your account and print. Mamili ka lang kung 1 column or 2 column version. At higit sa lahat, wala po itong bayad. Tipid po ito. Walang bayad. Okay? Ang kailangan mo lang, of course, internet. Sa mga nag-iisip sa inyo, sir, kailangan ko ng pan-data. Pwede ka naman makakorek sa internet na walang data eh. Punta ka sa libreng wifi. Di ba? Baka yung kapitbahay nyo may libreng wifi. O, makagamit ka muna. Later on, pag may trabaho ka na, may sweldo na, bayaran mo yung wifi niya. O, di ba? Bawi-bawi lang yan. No? Give and take. And there are a lot more benefits to just what I've mentioned. Marami pang iba. You can share your resume link to whatever platform you want to share it to. Gusto mo i-text? Gusto mo siya i-private message? Gusto mo i-send via Viber? Kayo bahala. Pwede mo i-share. Basta kayo may control. Ganun lang kasimple. No? Kung hindi mo ito binigay sa kahit kanino, hindi malalaman to nung taong yon. And you don't have to save it to whatever USBs or hard drive. No need na. Wala rin tong mga tipong version kailangan pa mag-compatible. Walang ganun. Lahat ito compatible. Pwede lahat. Okay? So shout out na lang ako. Shout out to all our school partners. By the grace of God, right now we have about 400 plus colleges and university partners nationwide, including your alma mater. So thank you. We're very thankful for this opportunity that we're able to do this kahit tayo nasa loob ng bahay, kahit kayo nasa loob ng bahay. So hindi tayo physically nagpe-present, pero nakakatulong pa rin tayo, especially if you have friends or relatives whom you think would need this tool. Please share this to them. Okay? Sa mga nagtatanong naman ng mga frequently asked questions, sasagutin ko na. Ito kasi yung mga common questions na kadalasan tinatanong sa akin. Ang tanong, can I give my resume link to companies who do not know about jobs180.com? The answer is absolutely yes. It depends kung sino ang bibigyan mo. Ikaw may ultimate control niyan. Okay? Pangalawang question, is this the same as other job platform like LinkedIn, JobStreet, iba pang mga job site? The answer is no. Meron tong dalawang major difference. Yes. Lalo na pagdating sa security. Okay. Of course, explain lang ako Okay. With respect to the other sites that I've mentioned, let me just use JobStreet as an example para lang mas makarelate, no? Para makarelate. You can only use JobStreet resume if you're applying to companies who are also using JobStreet. If you're applying to a company who is not using JobStreet, you cannot use your JobStreet resume anymore. With your resume link, you can use this to any type of company, any platform, wherever they are. Kahit sa loob ng Pilipinas or sa labas ng Pilipinas, pwede mong applyan. Kahit hindi niya alam ang Jobs 180, basta alam niya ang resume link mo, pwede niya mabuksan ang profile at makita according to your settings. That's the first difference. Pangalawang difference, kung nabigay mo na, kung na-submit mo na ang JobStreet resume mo sa isang company, wala ka nang pwedeng baguhin. Lahat ng data mo nandun na yan sa HR. Yes. Hindi na magbabago yan real time. With your resume link, na-submit mo today, mali pala number mo, na-submit mo today, mali pala yung spelling mo, you can always edit it. Enter, save it, real-time update. Lahat ng bigyan mo ng resume link updated real-time. Ayos? Okay, tuloy tayo sa number 3 question. Number 3 question is the easiest question. Ang tanong dito is, can I keep my information secured? I hope by this time, na-convince ko na kayo na ito na ang pinaka-secured na platform. Okay? That's the reason why I'm sharing this to you. Okay? Number 4, I think this is the most important question. How often should you update your resume link? Ang sagot dito, hindi araw-araw, hindi linggo-linggo, hindi buwan-buwan, hindi taon-taon. Ang sagot dito ay every time. Every time na meron kayong babaguhin, lalo na ang contact details nyo. Yan ang importante. You have to update your contact details every time na meron kayong papalitan doon. Kasi yan yung paraan para makontak kayo ng mga companies. And the last question is just a trivia. Why is this called jobs180.com? This is called jobs180.com because we want to turn your life around. Yan, di ba? 180 degrees. Hindi siya 360. Kasi kung 360, bumalik ka lang kung saan ka galing. Balik-balik ka lang, balik-balik ka lang, balik-balik ka lang. Di wala nangyari. Di ba? So you have to do it 180 degrees. It's a straight line towards your career goal. Okay? Just in case may tanong pa kayo, nahiya magtanong, pumunta lang kayo sa website namin, sa jobs180.com, or email me here sa info@jobs180.com, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, para makakuha kayo ng mga latest trends in recruitment. Okay? Again, my name is Kim Chu Wa. Don't forget yung Wa. Okay? Baka Kim Chu lang maalala nyo. Na nagsasabing, be safe at isang magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Sir Kim. Hi, sir. All right. So, people who are watching us, you may ask your questions via the comment section. So, I've been told that if you ask a question, a certain prize will be awarded from the DLSU Alumni Relations and Placement Office. So, they will be getting in touch with you in case that you ask a question. So, sila na bahala sa criteria. But we are now open for questions. So, sir, habang nag-iisip pa yung audience natin. Ayan. Sir, I have a question. We are scheduling, I think we are scheduled for a virtual career fair on July 15. Tama ba, sir? Ano po bang mangyayari on that day? Para lang may
Yes.
heads up yung mga audience natin.
O, tama po. Bali, sa
Sir Kim, you're choppy. Sir Kim, naghang ka na. Alright. While Sir Kim is fixing his camera and his device, we'd like to invite you guys to July 15. There will be a virtual career fair. It will start at 9 a.m. And there will be companies na mag-i-interview at mag-represent ng mga vacancies nila dun sa mga magjo-join. So you can join for free. We will be posting the list of companies and the Zoom link siguro mga 2 days before the event. So maybe tomorrow or the next day after that, we can already public yung link natin and yung list of companies. Ayan. So we'd like to greet everybody who's here and who's watching. So we have people from industrial engineering. We have people from civil eng. Good morning, guys. Thank you. We have MEB31. So I'm not sure what course. BS Biology. So good morning from BS Computer Engineering. We have people from BS Biology. We have people from BSA. So good morning. Thank you for watching. So while Sir Kim is fixing his camera, let's do this muna na. We have people from tourism management. Good morning, guys. Thank you for watching. Please tag your friends. Kung meron kayong friends na wala pa dito, please tag them. So para maka-watch din sila. Ayan. So again, there will be a prize to anyone who will ask a question. So may I confirm, Sir Kim, makakabalik ba si Sir Kim or should we go to the next speaker? All right. So let's do the Q&A after the next speaker. Okay. All right. So our next speaker is Miss Janet Lee Hodloman. She is the Deputy General Manager for Training for Cognizant Academy. And she's been with Cognizant for 6 years. And prior to Cognizant, she was a training, quality recruitment, and performance consultant for various BPOs in the country. An HR learning and performance manager for a financial company, and training lead for the financial and technical business units of eTelecare International. So, Miss Janet, can you please join us here?
Hello. Good
Hi,
morning,
ma'am. Happy
everyone.
to have you back.
Yes,
Ayan.
I'm back.
Ma'am, we are live today for the students of DLSU DASMA. Can
Mhm.
we test sharing your screen, ma'am?
Okay, sure. Hold on. So while I'm
Ayan.
doing that, I'd like to say good morning to the students and the faculty, everyone here. Okay, thank you for joining us today. Let me share my screen. Okay.
So people, again, if you have questions for Miss Janet later, just line it up in our comment section, and then
Mhm.
we'll read it after her talk. Tapos, if pasok kayo sa criteria ni ARPO, they will be giving you a prize. So they will
Yeah,
coordinate with you. Yeah. Miss Janet,
yeah.
can we have your deck on full screen?
It is already on full screen. Uh,
Naka-presenters view ata siya, ma'am.
yeah, wait, maybe my computer is a bit slow.
Okay.
Okay, let's give it like 3 days. Okay, it's
Ayan.
still not changing. Okay, hold on. Let me check again. I wonder why. Okay, hold on. Stop sharing
Alright,
muna.
it's okay.
Mm-mm. So this is what happens in a virtual setting, guys. Para alam ninyo, okay, I'm sure it also happens to you as a student. I'm sure you present to your teachers virtually, especially now, di ba? So, ayan. Kaya, dapat lang ready. So, kaya, ganito, matuto kayo mag-adlib. Oo, adlib lang ang katapat niyan.
Yan, ma'am. It's up. Okay
Okay,
na
is it
po.
on full screen now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I leave you to it, ma'am. I'll be back for the Q&A later. Thank you,
Sure.
Miss Janet.
Thank you. All right. Hello and good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Janet Hodloman. I represent Cognizant, okay, and I'm the Deputy General Manager for Training of Cognizant. And today, I'm happy to share with you some virtual interview tips, all right? So I know that you are at this point students, and eventually you will be, going out of the comforts of your school, applying for a job. And because we're in the new normal, okay, you will be experiencing this type of interview. So nowadays, virtual na lahat, right? So that's why we're going to talk about virtual interviews. Okay, so how are you going to prepare for virtual interviews, and how are you going to make sure that you do well during virtual interviews. All right. So let me share my a little bit of my knowledge and my expertise with you guys, and I hope you learned from me today. All right, so today we're going to talk about, of course, preparing for the interview. And then I'm going to talk about a little bit of types of interview questions. Para naman may idea kayo, right? So regardless of whether you are applying and you're being interviewed virtually or face-to-face, the questions are almost always the same anyway, all right? And then, of course, after that, we'll have a quick or a short Q&A, okay? All right, so let's start. First things first, all right? Before you even get to the interview, you know, um, time or situation, you should prepare, okay, everything that you need prior to the interview. First thing that you need to prepare, of course, is your equipment. Because everything is virtual, then you will need your equipment, and that means either your phone, your laptop, if you have a laptop, or computer, or whatever it is that you can use so that you can be interviewed virtually. Some people or some companies are okay with just phone calls, di ba? Tatawagan lang kayo and that's it. But if you need to be seen on screen, kaya nga siya virtual, no? It's not just a typical phone call or a phone interview. Then you have to have an equipment that is capable of doing that. All right. So you need to prepare that. Aside from the equipment, of course, you have to have the software. Normally, okay lang yung messenger. Like, I'm sure almost everyone, if not everyone, would have a Facebook account where you have your messenger as well. Or Viber, pwede rin yan. Okay, but if you don't, and some companies will require you to have other applications or software. For example, some companies will ask, do you have Teams? Do you have WebEx? Do you have Google Meet? Do you have sometimes WhatsApp? Okay, so things like that. So you need to be aware of the different types of applications or software that companies use, so that if you don't have that on your phone or your computer, that's fine. You can download them. Yung iba, karamihan naman dyan, freeware. And just like what Kim mentioned earlier, if you don't have the capability to do that, you can always borrow, okay, your friend or your relative's phone or computer. Go to, a location wherein you can use a computer with those types of applications. Okay, so just make sure that you have that ready. Okay, so unang-una yan, equipment. Now, what else? Your stage, meaning when you're there, of course, you have to present yourself in such a way that you are ready for the interview. If you take a look at the pictures that I have here on screen, di ba? Meron dyan picture na ang dilim, hindi nakikita yung face. Meron namang picture that this person is in a crowded area. Okay? If you know that you have a scheduled interview, make sure that you wait for that interview and prepare and stay in a place where it is conducive for you to take the call. Okay? Hindi yung namamasyal ka sa mall, ang dami-daming tao, tapos iti-take mo yung call. Right? Or if you're at home, make sure walang masyadong distractions. Here in the picture, may batang biglang papasok. Okay? Or in some cases, you sometimes feel too relaxed, di ba? Nakahiga ka sa kama or nakaslouch ka sa couch or sa sofa ninyo, and then you take the call. Well, that's not professional, okay? So make sure that when you show yourself, you look ready and prepared for the interview, okay? Now, another part of being ready, of course, I'm sure nagagamit ninyo to. There are applications or software that will allow you to use mga virtual background, di ba? Make sure you use professional looking virtual backgrounds naman. Unlike the ones that you're seeing right now, masyadong colorful, di ba? Unless, let's say, you're applying for a job that requires you to be artistic or creative, okay? Fine, then you can probably use some of your work as your background. That's fine. But in the, like in the BPO setting or in the corporate world for that matter, dapat mas professional naman yung background niyo. In my case, I always choose my wall, which is simple white, okay, but it doesn't have to always be white. Anything that's plain, hindi naman masyadong makulay, okay. It's okay if you have a curtain behind you, that's fine. Okay, it doesn't always have to be white. Masyado namang angelic, di ba? Parang fake naman pag masyadong puro white, okay? But I don't have a choice. My wall is white, okay? What I'm saying is, of course, you have to have a background that's not distracting, di ba? So that the interviewer will only see your face, okay? And will focus on you. Hindi masyadong na-distract sa mga may lumilipad-lipad na ibon dyan sa likod mo, okay? And practice your angle. Not too close to the camera na parang, di ba, nakaganyan ka doon sa camera, and not too far from the camera as well. And the angle should also be just right. It's as if you're talking to the person face to face. Eye-to-eye contact lang kayo. Leveled ang camera. Okay, so hindi nandito sa baba or hindi nakaganon sa taas. Level lang. All right? So there. Because that also tells your interviewer that you're professional. You know how to present yourself well. Even if it's a virtual interview, it's obvious that you prepared for it. Okay? Hindi lang basta-basta, okay, I'll take my call, I'll take the call now, nandito ako sa banyo or whatever. No. Okay? You make sure that you are prepared for the interview. Now, of course, if it's a face-to-face interview, normally, and you all know this, I'm sure, you have to dress for the interview. Diba? Face-to-face, definitely, we have what we call smart business casual. You don't necessarily have to wear a coat. Hindi naman masyado. Unless nag-apply ka as a CEO of the company, medyo kailangan mo talagang pumorma, right? But if you're a fresher, meaning a fresh grad, it's fine. Okay, as long as you don't wear your usual, collarless round neck or V-neck shirt na may print na whatever. So wag naman ganon, okay? Wag naman mukhang pupunta ka lang sa tindahan at bibili ng suka or whatever, right? So make sure for the guys, wear something that has a collar, okay? Sometimes you can wear a cardigan or a blazer on top of a shirt, that's fine. But you might say, virtual lang naman eh, di ba? Bakit kailangan ko pa magbihis? Yes, kailangan mo pa rin magbihis. Because in an interview, you are selling yourself, di ba? You want the interviewer, the organization to be impressed by you so that they will hire you, right? In other words, you're selling yourself. So that's why you have to present yourself in such a way that you are, hireable, okay? Or you're somebody who looks professional, ready, prepared, okay? And of course, somebody who thinks of this interview as an important uh, appointment, di ba? You're giving them importance, kaya nagbibihis ka, right? Some of you would say, bahay, alam naman nilang nasa bahay lang ako eh. Wag naman ganito, di ba? Naka-bathrobe, or obviously nanggaling sa banyo, or obviously, you just woke up na hindi man lang nagsupply ng buhok, right? Now, the beauty, or the beauty about being interviewed virtually or even in meetings, working from home, is that you don't really have to dress fully, okay, for that interview. Pwedeng yung half body mo lang ang nakabihis. And that happens all the time, di ba? For us who work from home, usually that happens. So iba nakapajama lang sa baba or naka-shorts. Pero because you're showing at least half of your body, the upper half of your body, dapat naman you look presentable. For the guys, yeah, okay lang siguro kung may balbas or whatever, but make sure better if you're clean shaven. And girls, if you can wear makeup, that's also even better. Again, it's all for for the interviewer to get the impression that this interview is important to you. Diba? Pinaghandaan mo to. It's important to you. That's why you got ready for it. Nag-makeup ka, nagbihis ka, nag-ahit ka, okay? Things like that. So even if it's a virtual interview, dress up for it. Kahit half body lang. Okay? Now, other reminders, watch your posture and your body language. Huwag naman masyadong relax na nakikipag-usap ka, nakaganyan ka sa kanya, para kang tinatamad, right? Or kamot ka ng kamot, or lingon ka ng lingon, while you're in that interview, stay focused, okay? Watch your body language, okay? At the same time, you're not always really expected to speak in English, especially if it's a different organization or a different industry. But of course, if it's a BPO, like Cognizant, sa amin, you're expected to speak English because that's one of the requirements. You have to be fluent in English. Now, using professional language does not always mean English, diba? Professional language, wag naman yung may mga gay nothing wrong with that. Ako, bakla ako magsalita, no? Like I use a lot of, gay expressions. But during an interview, try to avoid that. Wag naman yung mga charot-charot ka dyan, yung mga chenes-chenes. Wala naman ganon, okay? Be professional during the interview, okay? So use professional language and always be polite, okay? You don't always have to use ma'am or sir. Sometimes you can ask the interviewer, how do you want me to call you? May I call you by your first name? Or, you can do that. That's fine. Okay. And apply KISS. Okay. I don't mean that you need to kiss their, but this has a lot to do with the way you speak and the way you organize your thoughts. KISS stands for keep it short and simple. In other words, you don't need to talk a lot, okay? Just make sure that you always go straight to the point. If you're being asked a question, answer the question directly. Don't give too much background. Don't give a lot of details, okay? If you need to give examples, stick to 3 examples maximum. If you need to talk about the situation, talk about that situation from beginning to end, diretso, walang side steps, right? Okay, keep it short and simple. But at the same time, be able to explain your answers. If a question is answerable by yes or no, don't just say yes or don't just say no. Explain your yes and explain your no, okay? In a very short and simple manner. Sometimes, you dig your own grave by talking too much. You share information that you're not supposed to share. Okay, so watch out for that. Okay, just straight to the point, give an answer, explain, and that's it. All right. Now, speaking of giving answers, you need to also know the type of questions and what nangyayari during an interview. Okay, so I already prepared myself, I prepared my equipment, I prepared, the way I look, okay, and even my stage, right? And perhaps I need to practice. Now, to practice for the interview, you need to know what type of interview questions should I expect. Ano ba yung mga merong interview questions na meron dyan, right? So let's see. There are three major types of interview questions. The first one is what we call situational. Okay. Pag situational, normally they assess you, okay, the way you handle a situation. It has a lot to do with your PSDM, or problem solving and decision making skills. Excuse me. It also has a lot to do with your social skills, the way you deal with the people around you, you being a team player, things like that. If it's situational, normally hypothetical yan. They will ask you if questions, like, if you were in this situation, what will you do? Or if you found out that somebody in your group has been cheating or has been doing a lot of under the table work, what will you do? Okay. Mga possible scenarios. Okay. The type of questions usually are given to see how you will react to a certain situation and how you will handle difficult situations if they happen. Situational siya, hindi pa siya nangyayari. If pa lang siya, okay? Now, there are questions that are competency-based. Excuse me. Pag competency-based, that has a lot to do with you, your knowledge, your skills, your overall capability. Okay? Ano ba yung kaya mong gawin in relation to the job that you're applying for? In my case, for example, as trainers, if we have trainers applying for the position, of course, I have to know if they have the competencies necessary for trainers. Like, do they know how to do training needs analysis? Do they know what certain training terminologies are? Okay. Do they know anything about evaluation? Do they know anything about facilitation, etc., etc.? So I need to ask that because we're talking about the person's capability, the person's ability to do the job well. Okay. So you will be asked, siguro, because you're newbies, you're freshies, they will ask you about things that you've done in school. Okay. So let's say they will ask you to talk about, your thesis, kung meron kayong thesis, or they will ask you to talk about a project that you did, okay, to see what skills you have, okay, or how capable you are to handle projects. Yan, mga ganyan. So competency-based siya. Now, there are questions that are called behavioral questions. This is very similar to situational. If situational, if pa lang siya, di ba? Hindi pa, it's not really something that happened to you already. But behavioral, on the other hand, will be asking about your experiences. Okay. So questions like, tell me about a time when, let's say, you were asked to submit a certain project, and you only have like a day to finish everything. Okay, so in other words, you're working against a very, very short, strict timeline. What did you do? Ayan. Okay, so this is talking about something that happened to you, and then you will be asked to share, the strategies that you made, the decision-making skills that you applied, things like that, and probably even the tools that you used. Okay, behavioral siya because it is something that shows your capability based on something that you've already done, versus situational based on something that might happen to you. Okay, pero pareho lang yung mini-measure niya. Okay, mini-measure niya yung capability mo, the way you will react in certain situations, except that for behavioral, nangyari na, meron ka ng proof that it happened. Sometimes they will ask you, okay, so can you give us an example? Yan. So para sure lang na nangyari talaga and you really did experience that. So these are the major types of questions that you might encounter during whether it's a face-to-face or a virtual interview. Just like what Kim said earlier, if you were listening to Kim Chua earlier, okay, um, you need to prepare. So I'm showing a few examples of possible questions that you might encounter. You can list them down. And there are also sites, okay, on the internet where you can, look for questions that come up during interviews. Practice answering them, okay, and then apply KISS. Keep it short and simple. Go straight to the point. For example, normally this is something very common. A lot of interviewers will ask, tell me about your weaknesses or tell me about your strengths. Or, pinaparaphrase lang nila yan. Minsan, give me 3 weaknesses, 3 strengths. Or if you have friends or your teacher, if I will ask your teacher about you, what do you think will they tell me about your strength and your weakness? Ganyan. So when you do that, make sure to be honest, but at the same time, don't focus too much on the weakness. Turn the weakness into a possible strength. So let's say, for example, you might say that, well, a lot of people tell me that I'm um, that I'm a perfectionist. It's a weakness, and at the same time, it's a strength. Weakness because sometimes me being too OC or too perfectionist, I take time in doing things. Like I make sure that everything is in order. I make sure that there are no errors. I make sure that I do everything right in a way that's good, but at the same time it also takes time, and if I'm working against strict deadlines, then it might cause some delay, which is a weakness. But at the same time, it's also good because at the end of the day, because of me being a perfectionist, everything I do, I make sure that I do them well. Ayan. So yung weakness mo nagiging strength. Okay? So there are many other questions here, and I'm sure you will find other questions on the internet that you can, take note of, practice answering. Okay, and if you have, like, of course, your phone, practicing yun na yung angle ninyo. Tapos sagutin yung questions using your phone. Nakikita ninyo how you look. You can record yourself. Okay, and then you can also get feedback from your parents, from your teachers, from your coworkers, if you really want to practice and do well in an interview. Okay, so all of these things will depend on you. These are just tips. These are things that might help you, and of course it's you that matters. So you preparing and you being ready for the interview is what matters. So I suggest that you take the tips in mind and then start practicing. Okay, so that's it. I hope you learned something from me. It's a very quick, very short presentation, and I'm ready to answer your questions if I can.
Thank you, Miss Janet.
You're
Ayan.
welcome.
All right. So, to our audience, we are now open for questions. So we have while they're thinking of their questions, I prepared just one. So, we
Okay.
have here from JL De La Cruz. How can you succeed in interview questions?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
From JL De La Cruz, ma'am. Ma'am,
Mm,
you can go to StreamYard. The
mm.
question is flashed on the screen po.
Okay.
Can you succeed in interview questions? That's the
How do you
exact
succeed?
question, ma'am, from JL.
So his question is, how do you succeed in interview questions? Mm. That's a pretty tough question to answer because in everything there is no guarantee in terms of success. Like I am not in a position to say that if you do this you will succeed, but I would say that in everything practice helps. Okay, you being prepared to be interviewed, looking forward to the possible questions and then practice answering them, that will help you succeed in anything, actually, whether it's doing an interview or doing a thesis defense. It always helps. Okay, preparation and practice.
All right. Thank you for that, ma'am. Hope we answer your question, JL. No,
Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
ma'am. This one is just. I'm just curious. So,
Mhm,
if the applicant wants to join a multinational company like Cognizant,
mhm.
is fluency in the English language a requirement?
I would say yes. Because as a BPO, that is one of the major requirements. The reason for that is we interact with people outside of the Philippines, not necessarily always from the US, but definitely from outside of the Philippines. And we know that internationally, everyone speaks English, right? It's the common language for all. So you don't necessarily have to speak perfect English. You don't necessarily have to have, the twang or the American accent. You don't necessarily have to have perfect grammar. Okay, don't worry about that, because number one, we have training. That's what my team does. We train you on everything: grammar, presentation, etc., right? And even customer service skills. But the basic language skills should be there. Okay, and of course, confidence helps a lot.
All right. Thank you for
You're
that, Miss Janet. Next
Mhm.
question from Miss Clara de Venecia. Hi, Miss Janet. Thank you for your tips.
Mhm.
I have one question regarding job interviews. A common question that arises during the interviews is that, are you willing to do overtime? Do you think this is a red flag for the interviewer if the applicant answers no?
Yes, definitely, it's a red flag. Okay. Um, of course, we can be honest. Like sometimes we want to say answer questions honestly, but in reality, if I were the hiring person, like looking for someone who is willing to to do something more than what's expected of them, because in reality, we cannot really expect that we will not do overtime at all. There will be times when you will need to do that. Okay, and as an employee of any company in whatever position, even managers, even especially managers and people in the higher ups, they are the ones who usually do overtime actually, because there are things that you need to do outside of the work hours. Okay, and you can't help that, and that speaks of your flexibility, right, and your professionalism, your willingness to do your job.
All right. Thank you for that, Miss Janet. And just because you answered yes, hindi naman ibig sabihin na araw-araw ikaw yung ilalagay doon.
Oo, hindi naman,
For
oo.
approval
Kasi
naman yung ano.
yeah, possibility lang naman kasi yun.
Opo,
It's
opo.
just, testing if you are flexible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
From Miss Isabel Margarita Venzon, what is a
Mhm.
good approach in answering the question, what can you offer us that other applicants cannot if you're a fresh grad?
Okay, that's actually a very difficult question to answer, and I do understand, especially for fresh grads. This is where you can be honest. This is where you will have to highlight your personal strengths, because there is no way for you to compare, right? What others say and what you've done in the past, right? So you have to be aware of what your strengths are and highlight that. And you can say that this is what I have to offer. At school, I've always been very trustworthy and diligent. I've always been this and that, and highlight that. And because of that, this was the result. It's better to showcase something that already happened, because that will differentiate you from the others, because you will have your own experience, you will have your own successes, di ba? So focus on that, highlight on that. Marami naman pwede magsabi na I'm hardworking. Everyone will say that, right? Everyone will say that they are trustworthy. Everyone will say that they are you know flexible. Okay, but if you can highlight a specific situation where you were able to do that and do something and be successful in it, then you can say that I have been in a situation where this happens, and I can tell you that I work well under pressure, and because of that, my success record will show that this, right? Okay, so there you go. So because you should be talking about yourself, differentiating yourself from the others.
All right.
I hope I
Thank you.
answered your question correctly.
Yes, ma'am. Ang dami pa, ma'am. We have two more
Sure,
questions pa.
it's okay.
How from Miss Angela Potenciano,
Mm.
how do we answer salary expectations as a fresh graduate?
Okay. Be realistic. That's why it's also important for you to research on the company, di ba? You have to know what the company is about, what the company offers. Okay. So ballpark figure, you can always give a ballpark figure based on what you know. If you don't know, then just say, be humble and say, of course, as a fresh grad, I'd be willing to start from the bottom. I'm not exactly sure how much you offer, but of course, I'm sure it will be commensurate to my skills. Something like that.
All right. From Miss Adrian Australia, hello, Miss Janet. Are there questions that shouldn't be asked that we should watch out for in Philippine setting? Like, for example, in the US, women are not allowed to be asked if they have children.
Yes, there are a lot of no-nos, especially in the US, right? Because, again, for many different things. In the Philippines, it's not that strict. It's not that stringent. Um, of course, normally naman, the interviewers and all companies will avoid political questions, right? Because it really doesn't matter. If you're affiliated with one political group or something, hindi naman yan importante. So normally, that's a no-no. You don't ask that. Your personal opinion about other people, okay, or your personal opinion about your bad experience from the company that you came from, or someone that you know, or somebody famous, hindi siya maganda. These are questions that are not supposed to be asked during interviews, because these are, number one, irrelevant, and your personal opinion about somebody else is not important.
All right. Thank you for that, ma'am. From Jeremiah Santillan, is having no organizational activities within the university a huge disadvantage as an applicant?
Okay, I will answer that in a different way. Okay, I would say that it is an advantage if you have extracurricular activities, because that means you can manage your time well. That means that you're well rounded. But it is not necessarily a negative uh you know trait or a huge disadvantage if you don't have any. It depends, okay? Because there are people who are basically introvert, di ba? Di mahilig sumali sa mga ganyan. They're not really that active, okay? So again, it will depend on your performance during the interview, okay? So that matters most.
All right. So, I guess that's it. So, thank you
Mhm.
for answering the questions, ma'am. Talagang ang gaganda ng questions nila. No? Talagang
Oo,
very
thank you for
insightful.
your questions.
Thank you,
Na-challenge
thank
ako
you.
dun, ah. Parang ako yung
All right.
ako yung nag-a-apply.
Thank you, Miss Janet. We
Thank
would
you.
love to get you back, ma'am, on other events pa. Thank you,
Sure,
ma'am.
sure. Lagi naman suki tayo dyan. I'd like to say hi to Paolo de la Cuesta. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. He's the next speaker. He's speaking after you.
Oh, hello. Ayan, sige, I'll watch.
All right. Sige, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, so thank you to those who asked their questions. Galing, no? Galing ng mga questions nyo. So please expect the Office of the Alumni Relations and Placement Office to get in touch with you. They will be coordinating kung sino yung mga makakuha na prizes. Alright, so next up, we have our third speaker for hiring trends in the new normal. We have Sir Paolo de la Cuesta. He is the manager for internal recruiting from PSG Global Solutions. He has more than 17 years of experience in recruitment, sourcing, and human resources. He manages the internal recruitment team and is in charge of technology and process enhancements to increase productivity and efficiency for PSG Global Solutions. So, Sir Pao, please join us. Hi, Sir Pao. Thank you for waiting.
Hi. Nice to see you. Nice to see
Hi,
Miss
sir.
J again. Yeah, I
Can
used
you
to work
test
with
your
Miss
screen?
J.
Ah, okay. He's watching though,
Hmm.
sir. She's watching your talk.
Oh,
She will be watching.
okay. Now I'm
Can you test your
nervous.
screen, sir?
Share my screen for
Yes,
the
sir.
presentation. All
Yes, sir.
right. Let me
Um,
just find it.
To all those na hindi natin natawag na questions earlier, we will ask it to Sir Pao after his talk para we can still address your questions. Okay?
Okay. So here I have it. So can you see my screen?
Loading lang, sir. It's up, sir. Can we please put it up on full screen?
Which button do I press? There we go.
Okay na
Is it
yan, sir.
okay?
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
So, sir, I'll give the floor to you. I'll be back for Q&A. Thank you, Sir Pao.
All right, great, great. So, thank you guys. I'm Paula from PSG Global Solutions. So, we'll start off where I share a bit about our company, show you a few videos, and then I'll be discussing with you hiring trends that I've observed, and maybe some tips for you to maximize your job application process. Okay. So we're the world's largest and fastest growing provider of outsourced recruiting support to the U.S. staffing industry. So PSG is a bit different from other BPOs in that what we hire for, we don't hire for technical support or customer service. What we hire are recruiters. So what essentially what you will be doing is you'll be recruiting you candidates in the U.S. for jobs in the U.S. Okay, so regarding hiring trends now that we've experienced a new normal, the pandemic, I'm proud to say that PSG is one of the first companies that has switched over to an entirely work from home setup, and we were able to actually transition to that in just a week's time. It's because we were already planning to enter some sort of a work from home setup even before the pandemic. So pandemic just essentially just helped it on. So there are a lot of changes. I think the biggest change is that most of the uh, most of the interviews right now are being done virtually, wherein you have interviews over Zoom, you have or Skype or whatnot, and then the entire application process is completed without you having to set foot in the office. So it's essentially similar to what PSG does, in that we interview candidates also over the phone in the U.S. and endorse them to clients in the U.S. So it's not a new thing, but I guess it's a new thing for the Philippine setup. Now, Miss Ju shared some really great tips on how to handle an interview, what to expect during the interview process. So I think what I would like to share are some points on how you would be able to maximize your interview process. Now, most people, when they go into a job interview, they feel that they have to put their best foot forward. They have to make a good impression. And while that's true, the a job of a recruiter, the job of a recruiter is always to make sure that we get the right job for a person. It's not. I would not think that the job of the recruiter is to hire for the company. I think their first job is really to make sure that a person that they provide good jobs to people. That's what I've always believed, and that's what I instill in my team. And so it's very, very important that when you enter an interview, while you do want to make a good impression, you come in with expectations as well, and then it won't be it'll be a two-way street where you're not just being interviewed for the job. What I would like is for you guys to also come in and interview the company about and ask and learn as much as you can about the company that you're applying to and about the job that you're applying to before even you receiving a job offer. So you while the company is learning about you, you'll get to learn about the company as well. So how do you do that? So I think the first thing that you would need to oh well Sorry, presentation. Well, anyways, so first thing you would need to do is write down your expectations. Even if you're a fresh graduate, what are you looking for in a job? So, make a list of the things that you're looking for, and most importantly, make a list of the things that you are willing to do and willing and not willing to do. So, chief among those would be your what is the salary you're expecting. Now, I understand that you're a fresh graduate. You would have to temper your expectations, but you would also have to look at your needs as well. Even if you are a fresh graduate, um, you do want to find a job which will be able to provide for your needs, because if you enter a job wherein even working, even if you earn money, working, if you're in a work setup that is difficult for you, so you have to, where you're actually spending more commuting, eating out than you were actually bringing in, then that is not a practical job. So you need to find a job. So set in what your real salary expectations are, tempering them, of course, with the thought that you are a fresh graduate. The next thing I think would be, what are the working conditions you're willing to work under? So, are you willing to work on a night shift? How far are you willing to commute for your job? Are you willing to work overtime? Things like that. So make a list of these things. And then when you get into an interview, after they conduct their interview, feel free to ask your interviewer about the working conditions and match it against your list. So is there is this fitting with what you are expecting? And it's not just your expectations. As fresh grads, your parents more often than not will have a lot to say about the first job you take in. So, where I remember when I first applied at a job and it was going to be night shift, and my mom complained about that. And even now, we still get a lot of candidates. We get them all the way to the job interview, to the job offer stage, and then only to learn at the end that their parents don't want them to work on the night shift and they'd have to back out. So it's especially important to clear things like that even from the get go. That are you willing to work this far? Is the salary fit with you? And most importantly, is the job a good fit for you? So think about what you really want. Now, um, your first job is very, very important. It will be your first step in your career, and while there's a lot of room to change that since you're very young, it's always good to get take the first step on the journey that you want to take. So think about your career, what you want to be, where you want to be 5, 10 years from now, and understand what are the first steps in order to get there. And you can learn these things by reading about job description, by reading job descriptions. Like, if there's a certain job that you want to do but you're not qualified for it yet, read the job description of that job, what kind of experience, skills, and knowledge they are looking for, and then backtrack to look at which jobs can provide you that kind of skills, knowledge, and experience. So it's sort of like, I like to think of it sort of like an RPG, wherein you're doing a build for your character, and so you know what you have in mind. But these are the jobs that you have to do, the stages you have to undergo in order to build those characteristics within yourself, so that you will eventually be qualified and be able to do the job that you get. Now, so feel free to ask as many questions as you want during the interview process. You have to learn as much about the company you're entering, so that you are fully informed when you come in. There's no surprises. You're completely engaged, and there will be less friction when you start working, because when working in a job is very different. It's a very different scenario from going to school. It takes a lot of adjusting, and there'll be a lot of surprises, a lot of them pleasant surprises. But it is a big change, so you should be ready for that. And I think one thing that a lot of workers have experienced, taking on jobs during the pandemic, and we have seen this with PSG, and I have read articles about it happening across multiple companies. Is not a lot of people are ready for this work from home setup, and I think that is the biggest thing that you guys should prepare yourselves for in taking on jobs. So you've heard about this. A lot of these jobs are work from home, and it seems fun at first. You don't have to leave the house. You can do all the work from the comfort of your home. However, yeah, it's a very, very different setup from entering the office back when we were still working on site. So, when you enter a work from home setup, you'll be missing out a lot of the things that normally come with working in an office. So there won't be as many opportunities for you to make friends. Of course, since you're working virtually. So when you're working, everything is about work. You won't have, unlike when you're working in the office, a lot of it is social engagement with your coworkers, chit chatting with them. These things are important because by having friends in your office, you're building your support group. So when it gets difficult, when you have questions, you have the support group to help you along, and they're just in a cubicle away, or they're a seat away from you. You can ask them, or you can, if you're feeling frustrated, you can speak with them and talk it out. Here now in a work from home setup, that entire experience is gone. Every interaction that you have will be work related, unless the company takes certain steps in order to ease that somehow. So, now we here at PSG, we're also in the process of learning and figuring out how to do that. But it would be interesting to ask your company, if they are in a work from home setup, about what sort of programs do they have to support work from home. And it's a lot of it is to secure your own mental health. This is a very different situation that you're entering right now, and it's best that you guys are prepared for it. And I just want to set that expectation that if you do take a work from home job, it will be very different from probably what you expect. It will be very different, definitely, from what your parents experience, what your older siblings or friends experience when they took their first jobs. You are entering an entirely new era. So, and it's a process where we're all learning on how to deal with it, how to navigate the difficulties. And it's just please bear in mind that we know all companies are doing their best right now on how to address this, but we hope that we will all get through it together. All right. So basically, my point is, when you enter a when you're looking for a job, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be shy about saying that you can't do something. If you're really not able to do it, be willing to compromise on things that you can compromise, but don't force yourself to take on things that you're not ready to do just because you want a job. There are a lot of jobs out there. It's really important that you take the time and make the effort to find one that will be a good match for you. All right. So, anyways, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me later. For inquiries and applications, you can send an email to us at recruiting at PSG Global Solutions. Just scan that QR code. And we also have our referral network. So even if you're not working at PSG, it's still an opportunity for you to earn by referring candidates to us for recruiter specialist, team leader, managing director, and you can refer them through these ways. So another QR code, or send those profiles to us at recruiting at PSG Global Solutions. So like and follow us here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, so you can see updates about PSG. And that is it. So it's a very short presentation. I hope you guys were able to pick up on something.
Thank you, Sir Pao. Ayan. So, to all of our viewers, so the floor is now open for questions. So, pwede nyo lagay yung comments nyo sa comment section natin. Alright, so while you're thinking of your questions, Sir Pao, may I ask, what is the timeline? How fast is it from first interview to onboarding?
Oh, it's very fast. We um we typically hire people on a weekly basis. So if you get interviewed on Monday, you'll probably start on the following Monday. If you get interviewed on Friday, it's also the following Monday. Um so yeah, it's we try to finish each application within a day so that you get your results on the same day or by the following day. That way, you're not kept waiting. And if you need to follow up, just feel free to follow up with your recruiter.
All right, so thank you for that, sir. So I'm scrolling for the questions. From J.O. de la Cruz, how do you manage stress in a work setting?
Okay, so that's precisely what I was talking about. So in the old world, in the old stress is really, primarily stress is managed by, you're interacting with your coworkers and friends in the office. It's unique because you are all in the same boat. You all have the same concerns. So when you come to them, more likely than not, they will already be able to help you deal with it. But now in this setup now, it's work from home setup. You'll probably have to deal with it on your own. And my advice to you would be to compartmentalize it. So stress really comes from the things that frustrate you, targets that frustrate you, the amount of work. And sometimes it seems like a lot of things are coming to you together at the same time. Uh, One thing I can really give advice to you is it's never really as bad as you think. Any situation that stresses you, any problem that comes your way, just take a step back before reacting. And I think that's very, very important. If you react in your emotional state, you might end up reacting in a way that is detrimental to you, detrimental to your colleagues. So whenever you encounter something that stresses you, take a step back and analyze it and compartmentalize it. Uh, Try to analyze how big of an impact it is. And I think the best way to do that is to first assess what's the impact. Is it affecting just you? Is it affecting the team? Is it affecting the company? I think that will inform the way that you would prioritize this problem. Next is what are possible steps that you can do. So outline those. What are possible solutions to your problem? And I think while you're trying to figure that out, you'll already find a way on how to address that stressor. And then finally, take it to your boss. This is my problem. This is the solutions I thought of. What do you think? And you'll find out, and you'll figure out more often than not that wasn't really something that you had to worry about anyways. And if you're feeling the pressure, if you're feeling that there is a lot on your plate, feel free to talk to your supervisors as well. I mean, don't they are there to help you. Excuse me. They're there to support you. They won't get mad. At least a good boss won't. They won't get mad when you go to them and tell them you have a problem, because it's so much better to tell them you have a problem now so that they can help you support it, or they can get you the help they need, than when things are really uh, gone bottoms up and the problem is much worse already. So basically, yeah, figure out first how much you have to worry about it. Seek help if you need it, and don't worry so much about it.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Paolo. Do we have any more questions from our audience? Um, Sir, just curious, what was your first job and what are the things that you learned there that you still apply to today to your job?
Oh wow! Well, my first job was as a call center agent in customer service. So well, I've never had that question before. So what happened was, so I was in customer service, and then people would call, and they were all very, very angry, And then to stop them from shouting at me, I would give them free stuff, which you can do in certain instances, but I ended up doing too often. So you're only supposed to give away one a day. I think I was giving away 10 a day, 10 webcams a day. So because I didn't want to deal with all these people shouting at me. So that wasn't the right way to do it. And I think what the lesson I learned there is that you can it's more important to actually address a customer concern than just appease them, and that's the same way that you have to deal with stuff at work, rather than just appease the person who is getting angry with something. It's better to actually address their concern. That way, they won't keep bugging you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Tama nga, sir. Alright. So, on my first job, para lang sa audience natin, on my first job, my job was an executive assistant for the manager. So, I was handling appointments. And what I learned there is that I don't like being put on the spot. So, ayoko na pinapagalitan ako for something that's not my fault. So, kunyari, late yung meeting niya. So, papagalitan niya ako. So, ayoko na ganun. So, that's what I avoided in my second job. Kaya, nandito ako ngayon sa job sulit. So, those are lessons that you would learn over time. Not tama, Sir Pao, no?
Yes, yeah. So it's a process. You won't. There are a lot of things for you to learn. It's very very exciting. Despite the it can be difficult, but your first job it will be very very exciting. You'll get your first taste of adulthood. It comes. I guess what comes with is your the freedom you have, and when you're earning your own money. Yeah, you guys have a lot to look forward to with your first jobs.
Ayan. So, thank you, Sir Pao. So, great to have you, sir. We'd love to invite you in other events po. So, thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Madami kaming natutunan for this morning. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Sir Pao. All right. So, if you guys have questions that you didn't get to ask, ayan. Sir Kim, you're back.
Hi! Woo!
So, if you have questions na
Challenges.
hindi nyo pa natanong, Sir Kim is here to answer your questions. So, we'd love to invite you guys for the July 15 virtual career fair. So, Sir Kim, can you give more info about that?
Yes, okay. So now my internet is back. I apologize for what happened earlier. Sabi nga ni Ma'am Janet, ganito talaga ang ang real scenario for the virtual setting. So you just have to be resourceful and be prepared, no? Kung paano natin gagawin. Dapat may backup. So my backup didn't work out. So I had to do another backup to my backup. Ayan. So now I'm here. So to answer yung tanong ni Ma'am Shari, what's happening on Thursday, that's July 15, the 9 a.m., we will be having our virtual job expo, or we call it a virtual career fair. What to expect? So unang-una, there will be a lot of companies there waiting for you. So ito yung mga kung saan lumalapit na yung mga pagkakataon, especially with this challenging times. Companies are hiring, companies are offering for a lot of opportunities that you may want to explore. All you need to do is attend, and of course do your part, no, in applying. Now for that to happen, you have two options. One, you can go to the one that's scrolling right now on the screen. You can go to that shortcut link. It's schools.jobs180.com/DLSUD. You can go there, okay, and then you have to create an account. You have to log into your Jobs 180 resume link. Kung wala ka pa jobs180.com resume link, then you have to create one. This is for free. So that's what I shared earlier, no, during my airtime. The other option is you can go visit to your school website. Sa alma mater po natin, munta kayo sa dlsud.edu.ph. From there, you can go to the alumni relations link at the bottom portion. You have to scroll all the way down to the bottom left side portion. You click on it, and it will be redirected to the ARPO page, the alumni relations page. No? And then from there, you look for DLSUD resume link. So yung pangalawang option, ito yung medyo long cut, no? Pero i-recommend ko rin, you have two options. So that's the long cut. And when you click on that link, it will be redirected also to the page that I mentioned on the first one, which is the schools.jobs180.com/DLSUT. So either way, dyan pa rin kayo talaga pupunta. Now, another thing is if you have your account na sa Jobs 180, meron ka ng resume link, you just have to log in. Okay, when you log in, meron doon pop-up na message inviting you for the virtual career fair this Thursday on July 15. And all you need to do is click join. You have to click join for you to be able to receive the details. Okay, so at saka reminders. If you don't click join, then wala. You won't be able to receive yung mga details for the event. Now, during the event, please be there on time, 9 a.m. Okay, taas ang bandera ng Lasal. Diba? Let's make sure na nandun tayo to participate, to explore opportunities. Kung hindi lang, kung may mga companies doon na baka gusto nyo pang makilala or malaman yung mga offerings nila, then there will be a breakout session that it will be more intimate, so you can talk to the recruiters themselves, to the HR people themselves, and then you can ask questions. Now you can ask questions and anything you want to know about the company. So we look forward to see you on Thursday, July 15, 9 a.m. Yan.
All right. So thank you for that, Sir Kim. Thank you. So sa July 15, guys, sama-sama tayo, kita-kita tayo ulit. All right. So thank you, Sir Kim.
Thank
Have
you
a great
again.
day
Kung may tanong kayo, just send us a message. Okay? And don't
Yes.
forget to click join. Okay? Click the join
Yes.
button. All right. See you on Thursday.
See you, sir. Okay, sir.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, guys, to everyone who's watching, we have an evaluation for this event. So, we will be flashing it on the screen and we will be putting it in the comment section so you can just click it and you will be redirected to that link. So, please accomplish within the day, and that secures your attendance for this event for the ARPO office. All right. So, thank you everyone for participating, and we love your questions. We enjoyed the session. We would like to invite you for the next set of webinars that we are hosting for other schools. So we have one this afternoon and another one in next week, I guess. You can check our Facebook page for the topics that will be discussed, and you're welcome to join in any of those sessions. All right. So for our partner, we would like to thank CEO Group for being one of our corporate sponsors for this event. You may check out the CEO store in Lazada and Shopee or the nearest mall in your area to shop for your corporate attire needs. For our career opportunities, it's available at jobsready.com/CEO Group. So thank you. See you. Have a great afternoon. Join us on July 15th. Thank you, guys. Stay safe.
Hail, hail, alma mater, hail to DLSU. We'll hold your banner high and bright, a shield of green and white. We'll fight to keep your glory bright, and never shall we fail. Hail to thee, our alma mater, hail, hail, hail. Hail, hail, alma mater, hail to DLSU. We'll hold your banner high and bright, a shield of green and white. We'll fight to keep your glory